Here is your problem. You have got 3 guys that are going to be drafted from this Kentucky team. 2 guys will be lottery picks that are coming off the bench, and Dillingham and Reed Shepherd. And it all goes down to effort. You were talking about South Carolina's lazy. For Oakland to out-rebound Kentucky. For only 7 turnovers from the Grizzlies. That is lack of effort from this Kentucky defense. And you've got this kid coming off the bench.
He's an orthodontist. I mean, this kid's going to be an orthodontist one day, and he sets an NCAA tournament record.
And he said, look, man, I have gotten...
He's 24. I know.
There is no grand illusion of me playing in the NBA.
Yeah, he ain't going to do it.
He hits 10 threes. Like, after he hits 3 threes, your ass get on him.
Yeah.
And what was the Hoosier saying? I want to know what kind of gum he's chewing or whatever.
If he goes to the bathroom,
there's no way you
bathroom.
cannot shut that guy down if you want to shut that guy down.
Okay, you tell me, Jack Golke.
And he hit some deep ones, I know.
Jack Golke hits three threes against Samford. You think Bucky's making any adjustments?
Yeah.
Right?
10 out of 20 on the game, Jim. You don't let him get 20 off if he's going to hit that many.
If he hits 3 against Bruce Pearl and Stephen Pearl, you think they're adjusting? And 3 on Nate Oates, you think they're adjusting?
You can't tell me
what the hell does Calipari
Kentucky
get paid for?
doesn't have some 5-star sitting on their bench that plays 5 or 6 minutes a game that can play lights-out defense if he wants to. I don't want you shooting the basketball. I want you on this dude. I want you to embarrass him defensively. That is the problem with Kentucky. They don't have an edge right now. And to lose to St. Peter's 2 years ago in the first round and to lose this game, it's unacceptable. Calipari, I thought I was one of those guys. I was like, he's just had some bad breaks in the tournament. These are unacceptable breaks. It's not in the Sweet 16 when you're losing to a really good team on a final shot. Oakland played toe-to-toe with Kentucky all night long, and if I'm a Kentucky fan, I'm completely disgusted.
James in the chat room says Oates wants to know if that Golke guy can defend. He can't. They weren't even making him defend.
That's right.
They were letting him stand around on defense just so they could keep him in the game and didn't wear him out.
I think Oakland was shocked.
Kentucky still couldn't take advantage of it.
I think they were shocked.
You think Oakland was shocked that they didn't play more defense on him?
Yeah. Like, Jack gets to stay out there a little bit longer.
Jack,
keep shooting.
You need to tap out, Jack? No,
No,
I'm not even having to move.
I'm not even having to play
I'm just
defense.
sort of standing
Ross
here.
is
That's all
right.
he did.
It's I will not back Kentucky again. This is my Purdue moving forward.
It may be mine, as long as Cal's there.
I did say this could be an interesting special year for Kentucky. I said it yesterday on the show before the game tipped.
Yep.
I was like, if Kentucky plays like they played Neville, they can cut the nets down, and I would not be surprised. I am shocked they lost that game.
They were the most bet team in Las Vegas. We can ask Furman to confirm this, but what I read, the most bet team to win the national championship was the Kentucky Wildcats.
Wish I'd known that before I put them in my Final Four, Lance.
The most bet team to win the national title.
I stayed away from that game altogether yesterday.
I had them in my Final Four, so I was believing that this Kentucky team, a light was going to come on. And I'll like Purdue, like Tennessee, I'll never believe in Cal in this tournament again if he gets another chance to coach in it.
Yeah, more on that after we hear from Cal. Rockstar Cut 6, Forster putting together all this great post-game sound from last night. You've already heard from Bucky and Bill Self. Here's John Calipari just talking in the aftermath of this one. And really, he's talking like a guy that knows, if you guys want me out of here, just pay me $33 million and I won't come back. Here's John Calipari.
I hate it for these guys that people try to define this season by that game. And it's natural and it's how this business works. But this group was a ball to coach. And, we did things to help them and bring them together, and they did it for each other. They've got great hearts. And, that's what's devastating about this for me. Yeah, I've lost tough games before, and we've won some really buzzer-beater games at pulling game. I mean, I've been through everything in my career, so.
Been a while.
But this is one that's like, man.
Well, I mean.
Boy, he needs to be more. I would be like, this is embarrassing. I am sorry, Kentucky Nation. I'm giving you my money back for this year.
Yeah, I owe you $9
Two
million.
times in the first round I've lost with this type of talent. Just look at NBA rosters and how littered they are with dominant Kentucky players that ultimately didn't do anything at Kentucky.
Again, we did this the other day. In those terms that you're talking about, and taking college players and putting them in your professional league, the only modern-day comparison he has is Nick Saban.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only modern-day comparison that John Calipari has is Nick Saban. In those terms, in terms of taking my college guys and putting them in their professional sport. Nick Saban, can you imagine if he had done all that at Alabama, what did it end up being, 17 years? Is that right? 15 years, whatever it was? And he had one national championship. However long Saban was there. How long was he there? I've lost track of it.
17.
17 years.
years.
One national championship. What would we say about Nick Saban? We would say, He
A
won
lot of meat on the bone.
A lot of games, but boy, did you leave a lot on the table.
Yeah. I mean, truthfully, he won 6, and we feel like he left some on the table.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You look back and you're like, boy, you could have easily won this, and this. And Calipari, this guy has won 1. And what is even more of an indictment on him is he has allowed Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee to become the 3 teams that run this conference.
Yeah.
He can't even run his own conference, much less win the NCAA tournament.
And that's not just for this year.
No.
It's not for 2 years.
That's been for 4 or 5.
Since 2019.
Yeah.
It hasn't been Kentucky's league since 2019.
Alabama, Auburn, and Tennessee run this league.
But something has happened. You know, in 2012, they were just flat out dominant, winning the national championship. But I think it was it 13 or 14 when they had the Harrison twins and they were an 8 seed and they played for the national championship. He did a hell of a job of coaching that team. So I don't think he is. I don't think he's the best X's and O's coach out there. I think he's a hell of a coach, though, and he's a great recruiter. I just think he has lost his edge, which ultimately means that program has lost their edge.
That's right. That's a great point. So here's the $1 million question. At $33.4 million, would you buy him out?
He's got this weird contract where...
See, and I thought $18 million was the highest buyout in college basketball.
What he is owed is 75% of the remaining money on his contract.
That's if you fire. $18 million is if you hire.
Yeah. If he leaves and goes, like Nate would be leaving to go somewhere else, that's a buyout.
So he's got this weird contract done away where there's this provision in there that when he steps away, he's guaranteed basically an AD job, an associate AD job that pays almost $1 million. So there's that parachute for him that they put in there, and I don't know what it was in reaction to. I don't know why he got that big contract, but somehow...
Probably an NBA job that has floated several times.
Maybe, but his agent held Kentucky up, and they gave him that contract. So now, the choices are, if you're Calipari, do you just put an end to this misery and you go take that job, and then fans over time will forget all this, and he'll become kind of celebrated, I would think. Now, I don't know Kentucky that well. I don't know how you paid $33 million to get rid of him this day and age. That's a lot of money for basketball.
Who are you getting? I mean, obviously Kentucky can have the pick of the litter, but Nate Oates was the guy when we had dinner next to the Kentucky fans that were upset at the SEC tournament last year. They were like, we want Nate Oates.
Well, if you want him, you know what $33 million just became?
$50 million.
$51 million.
Got to pay $18 million to get it. But again, tip to the cap to Greg Byrne, who had that contract already signed before Kentucky lost again. Because Louisville, Michigan, now Kentucky could be open if they pay that. I would.
He's not going anywhere.
Oh, listen, I would. I mean,
you would if you were Cal. You'd walk away.
No, I wouldn't walk away. If I was Kentucky, I would get my horse money together and I'd pay it. They've got plenty.
They've got plenty of money, but who are you going to hire?
I don't care. I'm tired of this.
I don't care.
This is a Dunaway business.
No, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this.
Well, I am too, but you got to have a plan in place. Like if you were, is Tony Barnhart, not Tony Barnhart, Mitch Barnhart is still the AD up there.
Dude.
If you're Mitch Barnhart, give me 3 guys.
Give me 3 guys.
Give me 3 guys.
I will give you 3 guys who beat him right now. I'd find.
You'd go hire that Greg Campy guy? He's like 70.
I mean, crap. Somebody. I mean,
no, you know who I'd
would
hire?
Be better than this
and
guy.
I think he would walk Chris Beard. I really would.
Oh, I mean,
I'd be like, you know what?
Chris Beard would walk, yeah.
Kentucky fans, he's got a black cloud over him, but you guys want national championships. Let's bring him in. And he would leave as loyal as he is, much like Bruce Pearl loyal to Auburn. Chris Beard would walk.
So apparently Matt Jones, your buddy up there in Kentucky, is saying Brad Stevens. That's who their first call is going to be.
Why not?
I would.
Hell of a coach.
Yeah. Billy Donovan's out there. I'd call Billy Donovan.
I don't know if you guys noticed, though, Brad Stevens doing a pretty good job in the front office with the Boston Celtics. They lose like once a month in the NBA.
So back to your point, though, I would make these calls now. And if you can get a verbal, then he's out and I pay the $33 million. My whole point is I just wouldn't get rid of him until you know who you can get.
Yeah. And I would agree with Lance.
I don't care.
I'm fine getting rid of him, but have a plan.
I get rid of him. We go find somebody, and if it's not Brad Stevens, and if it's not Chris Beard, it'll be somebody.
Well, Paul's got a good point here. Jay Wright, and a lot of people believed he wanted to get out because of the NIL. Well, guess what? Villanova doesn't have it. Kentucky can have it in basketball as much as they want, and Jay Wright would be a slam dunk.
What I need to know about Jay Wright, did he just not like the concept of NIL and having to deal with that, or did he look at Villanova and say, there is 0 chance we can compete in an NIL world?
I've got a feeling it was a combination of both.
Yeah.
Because I think at that point when he left, it wasn't trending in this direction where teams like Villanova were going to be completely wiped out. It was more about the athlete being me.
And listen, if Brad Stevens only 47, that's amazing, G. Curbo. But
and he's lived a lot for 47.
He really has. I would tell you this: if I'm going to lose to 14 and 15 seeds, I'm going to lose with a cheaper coach. I'm going to lose with a younger coach. and I'm going to lose with a coach who isn't always looking down his nose at my fans. Those are the three I'm going to go with.
What do you? And I'm sorry, Lance, but what pisses you off more if you're a Kentucky fan? Your tournament performance, or the fact that you've allowed Nate Oates, Rick Barnes, and Bruce Pearl to have better programs than you?
All of the above.
Yeah, all of the
I
above.
do think it's all of it. Yeah.
Because listen to me. Those Kentucky fans, they flooded Nashville with their hard-earned money, and they were not rewarded. And they flood the
Pittsburgh,
NCAA tournament, Pittsburgh, in this situation, and they're not rewarded. You see those people in the stands last night? Those people in the stands. I mean, they're sitting there going, "Well, it's happened again. We booked.
I got to go sell another ticket."
I mean, if you ask me,
this was their thought. You see them sitting there thinking as the game was wearing on, they were going, "Well, dang, last week we lost on Friday and we killed time in Nashville on Saturday and checked out on Sunday like we were going to anyway, and then drove back to Kentucky. What are we going to do the rest of this weekend here in Pittsburgh? Is there
tickets got a lot cheaper in Pittsburgh? Look, we've been subjected to it, so I feel comfortable saying I think it is the best fan base, whether you like them or not, in all of college basketball.
Most passionate.
The most passionate.
Yeah.
I mean, dude on Trash on the Table lost his prosthetic leg, and it was all Kentucky flavor. He was that big of a Kentucky fan. But here's what I would do. If he does come back next year, put him in the barrel, let everyone know this is a make or break year for Calipari, and see if he can get that edge
make
back.
it Brian Ferentz, give him a Brian Ferentz deal, like he's got to meet these certain standards to keep his job.
Final Four are gone.
I don't want to live it again. I don't want to live it again if I'm a Kentucky fan. Thank God I'm not a Kentucky fan.